Hi everyone, welcome back to the Programming Fields. I'm Umesh Rana, and in the last video, we implemented a complete project CRUD using Livewire 3 Flux components in Laravel 12's Livewire Starter Kit, where we built a dynamic model form, clean Tailwind UI with reusable components. And for handling the create, view, and update functionality, we have a single pop-up model component. Here we have the following form fields. And for creating this UI, I have used Livewire Flux component alongside Tailwind CSS. From here, we can create a new project. We have the form validation. We have the image upload with preview. Also in the view, the same model form has been opened and all the data has been populated here. Same thing, we have the edit mode. On edit, the same model pop-up has been opened and all the data has been populated in the edit mode. From here, we can update the details alongside this image. And lastly, we have this delete functionality. And when we'll delete, this will delete the record and we will have the flash message. So if you missed this video, I highly recommend checking it out first. Link is in the description because today's tutorial is the perfect extension of this application. Now today, we will take things a step further and build a fully reusable confirmation model, because currently this delete confirmation model has been added for this project module only. So in case if you want to reuse this model confirmation for other delete operations, then we can use that. So in the today's video, we will make this dynamic and reusable component that will accept dynamic messages, and this will trigger actions via event. So let's make confirmation prompts elegant, dynamic, and completely dry. That means don't repeat yourself. And we are working inside the Livewire starter kit that ships with Laravel 12. So I will quickly jump to the code editor because I already have this project set up. And here inside the resources, views, we have the Livewire folder. Inside this, we have the projects folder. Here we have this index blade in which we have this project listing. Inside this, we have the action button as delete. From here, we were triggering that delete project confirmation pop-up, and this is added inside Flux model trigger component. And on the button click, I was dispatching one event as delete project alongside the project ID. So based on this ID, it was deleting that. Also in the Flux model trigger, we have the name attribute defined as delete project. And this name is basically model name of that confirmation model. And this model has been added inside the same listing component here at the bottom side. Now this model is added specifically for this project module only. Now what about if you want to use this across entire project? In that case, we will have to make this a common component and we'll have to keep it outside so that we can reuse it across our project. So for this, I will create a new component in Livewire and that will have a common component. So I will just duplicate this terminal tab and I will create a common component. So I will type php artisan livewire make, and I will specify one directory as common because this is going to be a common reusable component across the project. So this should be kept separately from other components. Now inside this common folder, I will create one component and I will name it as delete confirmation. I will hit enter and the component has been created. Now let's navigate back to the code editor. Here inside the Livewire folder, we have one directory as common and we have this delete confirmation component created. Now in the next step, I will jump to the index blade and I will copy this delete project model component code and I will keep it inside this delete confirmation blade. Now the confirmation model is added here. Now in order to trigger this delete confirmation model from that index delete action, firstly we will have to call that component inside this index. So here I will just render that component. I will write livewire colon common, and inside the common we have the component as delete confirmation. Now if we'll check again in the browser and let's click on this delete button. Yes, this model is still triggering. Currently these all data are static here. So we will make this dynamic. Now let's jump to the code editor. And in the next step, from here, when we'll click on this delete button, I will pass a few property here in order to trigger that model. So here we already dispatching one event as delete project. Okay. Now instead of this, I will change this event name as confirm delete, so that it will be a common event here. Okay. Now on confirm delete, I want to open that model. And alongside this action, I want to pass a few more properties after this ID. So currently we are passing the ID here in order to delete that project. So we will have to dispatch two events. The first event will open that model, and on the second dispatch, we have to confirm the deletion. So that event will be passed as a dynamic here, because this can be different for a specific module. This is a project module. So from here, I'm going to delete a project by clicking on this delete button. Now let's suppose if you have users module, and from there you will have the delete button, and by clicking on that delete button, the user should be deleted. So in that case, there will be a dynamic different action. Okay. So let's dispatch one more event by passing as a props here. So I will pass one more property and I will name it as dispatch action, just like this. And on dispatch action, for this project module, I want to delete the project. So I will name it as delete project. Also, I want to set the model name, because in the delete confirmation model, we have a name as static as delete project. But later if we have users module and from there we want to delete the user, for that module, it should not be delete project model. It should be delete user, right? So for that, I will make this dynamic by passing one more props. So in the first parameter, we passed ID. Second, we have this dispatch action, which will be delete project. Next, I will pass model name. And this will be like delete confirmation model. And I will copy it and I will set it here as this model trigger name, because this model trigger name and the model name should be same in order to open that model. Further in the model, we need title and subtitles. Okay. So let's pass the title and subtitle dynamically from here. So I will pass heading, and for this delete project, I want to pass the heading as delete project. Okay. This will be kind of confirmation. Also for the subtitles, we have the message like you are about to delete this project, and this will be dynamic message. So I will define subheading, and in the subheading, I will add message as you are about to delete this project, and I will append the project name dynamically. So I will copy it from here. This will be project name, and I will wrap it in strong tag. Okay. And I will append one more message as this action cannot be undone. So this message has been defined here. Now let's save it, and we have to listen this event in this respective model class. So I will copy this event name and I will navigate to the app Livewire common, and here we have this delete confirmation class. Inside this, I will use Livewire on attribute. So we have this on attribute in order to listen the event in the Livewire 3. Here inside this on attribute, we have to pass that event name as confirm delete. Now respective to this, we have to define one function in which we will perform another action by listening this event. So I will define one method as delete confirm, and next we have to import this on attributes provided by Livewire, and inside this delete confirm function, we will have to receive those parameters which we are passing alongside this action. So we are passing ID, dispatch action, model name, heading and subheading. So let's receive these all parameters here inside this. So I will capture ID. Next we have the dispatch action. Further we have model name. Next we have this heading and subheading. Okay. So we will have to capture in the same property that we are passing from here. Now respective to these variables, I will define a public property so that these all variables can be accessible here as a publicly in this component blade. So I will quickly define a few public variable as public $id and I will initialize it with null. Next we have dispatch action. I will initialize it with null again. Further we have this model name. And for the model name, I can set a initial value so that I will pick up from this index blade. I will copy this name and I will set it here. Next we have this heading and subheading. So let's copy it and let's define the variable as public $heading. And this will be null again. Same thing for this subheading. Now inside this function, I will assign these incoming variables value to these public variables. So I will write $this id is equals to $id. Next we have dispatch action, model name, heading and subheading. Now these all incoming values are assigned to these public variables. So these all public variables are directly accessible in the component view. So here we can change the dynamic name, whatever it is coming from model name. So here if we'll put dump and die $this model name, we will be getting that model name. If we'll click on this delete button, yes, we are getting the model name as delete confirmation model. If we'll change this from index blade as delete confirmation model new, and if we'll click on delete, yes, we are getting that value. So based on this, we can set the value dynamically to this component view. So here I will render the model name just like this, and from this component class I will remove this dump and die. Now I will navigate to the browser again. I will click on delete, and yes, the model has been triggered up. Now based on this, we have to set the dynamic title and subtitle. So let's add these here inside the component view. Next we have the heading. So let's copy this heading and here I will paste that heading. So I will render heading. Further we have the subheading. So for the subheading, we have set the subheading in the raw HTML format so that this can parse. So we have to render it using HTML. So I will be using double exclamation mark just in order to parse the HTML. And we have the subheading. Okay. Now let me remove this static text and let's navigate to the browser. Let's click on delete. On delete, we can see we have the dynamic message as delete project. And this is subheading as you are about to delete this project which has Laravel project name, and this action cannot be undone. Now I want to add line break here in the dynamic message. So I will be using br tag here just like this. Now if we'll check in the browser, if we'll click on delete, yes, this has added the line break here. Now in order to give some spaces, that means line height, we can set the Tailwind class here. So inside the subheading, here I will add Tailwind class just like leading text. So this will set some spaces between the lines. Okay. Even if we need more space, we can set this to leading loose. And if we'll check, yeah, we have enough spaces. Also, we can make this bigger. So I will set the size to XL. Yes, this is perfect. Here we can set some extra margin from top. So I will set margin top as 5. Yes, this is good now. Now regarding the delete confirmation, from here, in order to delete the current selected project, we have to dispatch one more event, and that event will be listened in this respective project component. So let's add click event inside the delete confirmation, and this is already added as wire click. So I will change this click function name to delete, and also this button text, I want to update it dynamically based on here. So I will set one more parameter as confirm button text, and this will be delete project. This could be anything based on the module name. Now let's capture this variable inside this component class. Here firstly, I will define that variable as confirm button text, and I will initialize it with default value as delete. Okay. Now let's capture this inside the function as confirm button text, and let's make it optional. So I will initialize it with null. Now here let's assign this to the public variable. If we have this confirm button text, then this will assign it. Now let's copy this variable, and here instead of this hard-coded button text, I will add the dynamic text of the button. Now regarding the cancel button, we can keep it same as cancel. Now here we will have to define this delete function inside the same component class. So let's define a common delete function just like this. This is our common delete. And here I will add hello. Now if we'll navigate to the browser, and if we'll click on delete, yeah, we have this dynamic button text. And if we'll click on this delete button, this has printed hello. Now based on this confirmation, we have to dispatch one more event, and this event will be dynamic because we have already defined one variable in order to capture the dynamic event from that respective component view. So we are already dispatching one action as delete project because this entire module is for project, and when we'll click on delete, this will delete the project. If the module is user, that will delete the user. So based on the module name, we can dispatch separate action here. Now from here, I will trigger one event which will be $this dispatch, and inside this dispatch, I will pass the dynamic event which will be dispatch action. So I will pass $this dispatch action. Now alongside this action, we have to pass the ID or any parameter. So based on the given parameter, it will perform the delete operation. So in this case, we are getting ID from here. So I will pass the ID parameter. I will define a key as ID, and I will pass $this ID. Now I will listen this event inside our component class. So from here, I'm passing this action as delete project. Now I will copy this action, and I will navigate to this index class, which is inside Livewire projects index. Previously, we were capturing the delete confirmation and that ID, and based on that, we were deleting that. Now we don't need this separate function here. Now instead, I will just move this listener here just above this function, and alongside, I will receive the ID parameter. Now we don't need this confirmation function here. This function will capture that action. Okay, $ID. And here I will add dump and die $ID. Now I will navigate to the browser again. And if we'll click on delete, let's confirm. On confirm, I received ID as 7. Same thing if we'll try deleting another, this one. Yeah, we have ID as 5. Now based on this ID, we can handle this delete operation directly from here. And inside this delete function, I will pass the ID dynamically as $ID. And rest, this function will handle the delete action. This is already defined inside the project service. If you want to check out the project service, we have this project service. And if we search for that function, we have this delete project. From here, this will receive the project ID, which we are passing here dynamically. And based on that, this will find the project and it will delete it. Now let's test this functionality. So I will try to delete this first project. I will confirm it. Yes, this has been deleted. But here after deletion, we have to close this current model. So for closing the model, we already have the plus model close function. So that we will have to define it inside the delete confirmation model itself. So after dispatching this event, I will close the current model. And for closing the model, the Flux library provides a method. So inside the model Flux, here we have the Livewire methods. Inside this, we have the model show and close function. So from here, we can use this close function. So after dispatching this event, I will close the model using Flux model function. And here inside this, we have to pass the model name, which is dynamic model name. We have this. So I will pass the model name and then we have to call the close function. Now let's import this Flux component. And firstly, we will have to add one if condition. That means if we have this dispatch action and ID, then only this will perform the delete operation. And $this ID. Now we have to keep these two lines inside this. Okay, just like this. Now if we navigate to the browser again, and let's delete one more project. So this time I will delete this one. I will confirm it. And yes, after deletion, that model got closed and we saw the success message. So that's it for the today's tutorial. You have now learned how to create a fully dynamic confirmation model in Laravel 12 using Livewire 3 plus Flux component with event dispatching and clean UI. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like and share this video with your fellow developers. Also, you can drop your comments and thoughts related to any feedback or suggestions for the future videos. So once again, thanks for watching and I will see you in the next video.